would have thought that a sentence from Jungkook could shake the foundation of the ARMY's trust in HYBE? Is this just an accident, or is it just a grand plan that is slowly being revealed? Why did HYBE hide this for so long? And the most astonishing, is it true that Taehyung and his family signed a secret agreement 10 years ago? Jungkook reveals Taehyung family's secret HYBE hid for 10 years. ARMY must know this. If you think you know everything about Taehyung and BTS, be prepared. Because what you're about to read is not only eye-opening, but it might also shake your faith all along. A sentence, a moment, and a reality that has been neatly wrapped in a sparkle of perfection. Jungkook, with his voice almost shaking, said something that immediately made the atmosphere of the rehearsal room quiet. No cameras are turned off. None of the staff dared to interrupt. And there is no turning back afterwards. What did he really say? And did HYBE know all this in the first place? The incident stemmed from an internal training session that was not supposed to leak. However, a short clip from a surveillance camera shows Jungkook staring at Taehyung, then saying in an uncharacteristic voice, "Are you sure you want to keep this, even though your family had an agreement with them from the beginning?" Everyone is silent. Taehyung nodded. The camera stays on. And the internet. As soon as the video leaked to the public, instantly exploded. The question now is no longer what Jungkook meant. But why did HYBE keep this fact so long? And what is actually written in the agreement between Taehyung's family and the agency? ARMY, who has known BTS as a second family, is now forced to question everything. Was Taehyung really chosen from the start? Did his family already know all this even before BTS debuted? And is it true that it was HYBE who accidentally leaked this secret to the public through a file that was accidentally included in internal promotional footage? Let's go back to the traces that have been overlooked so far. There are many omens, too many, even, that have been thought to be mere coincidences. But today, they're all starting to look like puzzle pieces that form one big picture. A picture of who Taehyung really is and why his presence in BTS is more than just the result of an audition. Dio, you still remember Taehyung's old interview, where he once said that he would hardly have auditioned if it weren't for encouragement from someone very close to the company? That sentence now sounds different, even very suspicious. Because after Jungkook's statement went viral, a former HYBE staffer secretly sent a message to one of the big Taehyung fan sites in Korea, a message he never thought would be published. It read, "Taehyung is not the only child HYBE found. He is the son of the chosen one." And this is where everything becomes much more serious. HYBE did not respond directly. But the emergence of internal documents that had been uploaded on the promotion server showed an agreement that the Kim family had signed with HYBE since 2013, even before BTS officially debuted. In the agreement, there are clauses on confidentiality of family background, safeguarding privacy to the highest level, and what gives goosebumps the most? Annual compensation for maintaining the brand image. What does this mean? Is it true that HYBE indirectly bought Taehyung's family's privacy in order to protect her idol's visual and emotional narrative? Jungkook, who is known as a loyal and silent person, is not a person who easily speaks without calculation. So, why did he touch on this issue? Is it because he wants to reveal the truth for Taehyung's sake? Or because he himself felt manipulated all along by a narrative he didn't even realize was false? That question has not yet been answered. But the expression on his face, when he said that there is something that should no longer be hidden, was enough to fuel thousands of speculations. ARMY began to hunt down all the old archives. Debut video footage, concert VCR, BTS Run trailer, all rewatched. And, to his surprise, many found hidden clues. There are moments where Taehyung seems to want to talk, but is stopped by the staff. There are lines in V's solo songs that now feel like personal messages, like Stigma and Blue and Gray. Is it a silent call that we never hear? Making things even more complicated is the fact that HYBE, in a leaked legal document, indirectly admitted that they had entered into a special protection contract for one member because of his family status. But it doesn't say who, but with Jungkook's sentence leaked, the direction of suspicion only leads to one name. Why didn't Taehyung deny it? Why didn't he defend himself? Or maybe because he can't. And in the midst of all this, there's one part of Jungkook's interview that's back in full swing. An old interview, in which he said that taehyung was the one who sacrificed the most, but never spoke. Is that a phrase we've all been ignoring? We don't know how this story will end. But one thing is certain, Jungkook's statement is not just any sentence. It was a burst of pressure that had been stored for too long. Maybe guilt, maybe anger, or maybe it's the desire to protect her best friend from the shadows of the past that she never asked for. ARMY, are you ready if what you've always believed turns out to be only half the truth and the most terrible? Had HYBE planned this in the first place? Or is it because they have forgotten that their idols are real people? There's still many unanswered questions. But this is just the beginning. Because if it's true that the agreement exists, and if it's true that Taehyung's family received compensation in the first place, then it's no longer a matter of personal secrets. It's a matter of transparency, industry ethics, and the future of how the agency treats its idols. And if HYBE is known, kept quiet, then who have we been supporting? Don't go. Because this story is not over. Because one word from Jungkook has opened a door that can no longer be closed. No1 really thought that the leak of a sentence would force the public to redig the dark story behind BTS's splendor. Especially if it comes from the mouth of Jungkook, who has always been known as the figure who most maintains the internal harmony of the group, a figure who has never once been involved in a controversy over words until that day arrives. And now all the questions are popping up like an unstoppable storm. Did IS what has been considered the sincerity of the audition process just a scenario of a contract designed in advance? Was Taehyung really ever given a choice? Or was it all set up, including when he appeared, how he behaved, even who he was close with among BTS members? To make matters worse, after a short video showing Jungkook making the shocking remarks went viral, several former trainees and HYBE staffers sent anonymous messages to ARMY's largest fanbase. One of the messages even mentions that there is a large file containing Project K, which has been started since 2012, 1 year before BTS debuted. In it, the sender said, was Kim's surname in Taegu, complete with detailed biodata and long-term career mapping for Taehyung, with a special note, target, development of visual emotional brand for global expansion. A cold sentence. Planned. Without humanity, the truth never comes from a single source. That's why an independent investigation team from among fans began to merge mysterious traces from BTS's past. A long thread on Twitter/X suddenly went viral after someone managed to unpack old emails from the HYBE server leak. The email was sent by a staffer named Kim D. In 2014, a year after his debut. It read, "Make sure V's family status and pre-agreement never reach public. Attach NDA renewal next week." At first glance, it sounds technical. But when examined together with what has just been revealed from Jungkook's sentence, the email becomes a fragment of the truth that has been silenced for too long. And as fans searched deeper, they discovered something even more astonishing. Taehyung wasn't just a chosen child. It is, in internal files inscribed with the initials KTH, referred to as the key instrument of global cultural export. He's not a human being, he's an asset. The only question is, did Taehyung know from the start that he was part of this grand plan? Or did he grow up in the shadow of his parents' contract with the belief that all happened because of talent and hard work alone? This question is what makes the hearts of thousands of ARMY torn, because not a few of them see Taehyung as a reflection of their hope, a simple village boy, innocent, full of imagination, and managed to reach the world with sincerity. But now, all of that seems questionable, but on the other hand, HYBE's silence made the public even more suspicious. There is no official clarification. There is no objection. There was only the swift removal of leaked documents and pressure on the media not to raise the issue further. But the world has changed. The ARMY is no longer an ordinary community. They are gigantic networked systems spread across the globe, with the power to dig deeper than anything they're trying to hide. Meanwhile, Taehyung actually appeared on a live broadcast the day after the video went viral. Not to clarify, not to refute, but rather to play the piano and sing the song Scenery with a completely different expression than usual. No smiles, no joke. Just a blank stare and a voice that sounded almost like a delayed cry. The fans who watched the broadcast realized one thing. She did not deny herself anything, and it was probably the quietest confession ever. Jungkook hasn't appeared since the video went viral. However, a social media account belonging to BTS's music editor found that the initial version of Jungkook's solo song, "Mayu," had added. Something strange happened after Jungkook's statement went viral and the world began to question Taehyung's story. A few days after the video went viral, HYBE released a new activity schedule for BTS members, with one very noticeable difference. Taehyung's name isn't listed anywhere, not in solo projects, not on a variety show, not at concerts or collaborations, not on the promotional agenda. As if he disappeared. The question is, did Taehyung disappear because he wanted to stay out of the spotlight, or because HYBE subtly hid him from the public for the sake of controlling greater damage? And if it is true that he was forced to be silent, then who is really behind all the decisions? An insider working for one of South Korea's major advertising agencies gave an anonymous statement to an alternative media outlet, saying that within HYBE, there is great pressure to control this narrative before it expands. Even more than that, it was said that HYBE's higher-ups were in a state of internal crisis because someone from within started not following the script. And the public knows there is only one person strong enough to defect from the script, Jungkook. Why now? Why, after years of silence, did he choose to speak out? Some fans said, this may not be about revenge, but about limits. About the point where a friend can no longer bear to see his brother imprisoned by a story he did not choose. And perhaps, Jungkook just needed one last incident that made his emotions explode. Some witnesses said that the day before the video was recorded, Taehyung was seen crying alone in the rehearsal studio, without a camera. Without anyone, just himself, a piano, and a little piece of notes on a chair. And to his surprise, the note was later found by studio staff and secured by HYBE without giving any explanation. Some time later, one of the fans who claimed to work as a cleaner downstairs, HYBE, leaked something astonishing. There was a hand letter in the trash that said, "If they can't accept me without my background, then I'm nobody in this world." It is not yet certain whether the letter is genuine, but an atmosphere of deep sadness has enveloped the fandom like a hanging mist. And what is most heartbreaking, when the public continued to demand the truth, not a single representative from HYBE came to the fore. What appears is precisely the old video clips from BTS, which are now viewed with a different point of view. In the Spring Day video, there is a scene where Taehyung stands alone in the middle of a snowy road. In the past, the scene was considered a symbol of longing and loss. Is it more than just a symbol? Is it actually a hidden message that we have not understood? If we look back at Taehyung's journey, we will find that he often provided clues through his artwork. The song Inner Child, for example, talks about a little boy who can't understand the world around him, and a smile to be made even if the wound never heals. Is the song a mirror of the pressure and sacrifice she endured as a child? Ever since her family signed with HYBE, which may have determined her path in life before she even understood the meaning of the word idol? Meanwhile, rumors have surfaced that one of HYBE's longtime executive directors has been quietly laid off, just a week after Jungkook's video leak. There is no official statement. Only rumors spread among investors and internal employees that the director was involved in the preliminary creation of a secret contract with the Kim family. And more surprisingly, it was said that there was a clause in the agreement that mentioned HYBE's right to organize and edit the narrative of V's life for at least 15 years after the debut, the cold clause. Scary. And completely removes the boundary between privacy and publication. Back to Jungkook. Many wondered what exactly prompted him to open his voice. One of the most talked about theories is that during BTS's documentary project last year, Jungkook read part of each member's internal contract, and that's where he discovered the big difference between his contract and Taehyung's. There is a section called the Legacy Clause, which only appears on Taehyung's contract, mentioning that the continuity of the brand image must precede the personal interests and emotional decisions of the individual. And as one entertainment industry analyst revealed, if this is true, then Taehyung has never really been free since the first day he signed with BTS. Now, the ARMY is divided in a sea of emotions. Some are angry at HYBE. Some are confused as to whom to trust. And many